Welcome back to the McKinney Podcast, folks, where we celebrate what makes us unique by nature. We are very pleased to welcome our guest, my friend from way back, 2016, 2017. I don't know. It's been a long time. Back when you were a Townsend, or a Contreras, not a Townsend. Mm-hmm. And now you are. Thank you, Stephen. You changed your last name. I'm a big fan of the Townsend. There you go. Rita Townsend. I almost called you Rita Contreras again because that's... Sorry, Rita Townsend is here.
I drove it home for many years, so I understand.
You know, and you are representing Mary Kay, you're representing Leah's kids, you're representing Women Alliance of McKinney. You wear a lot of hats around here, so welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
So give us the backstory, Rita.
That's
How
right.
in the world did you get to this chapter in your life? You are a Marine Corps veteran. So you have served our country in uniform. Thank you for your service in the most sincere way possible. As we approach the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps coming up very soon, Fred's favorite question is...
When your feet first touched the earth, what soil was that?
Was it Texas soil or somewhere else?
I know where it is.
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Peach country.
So, yep. Born and raised in Georgia. I don't have
what
the
part of
crazy
Atlanta?
accent, though, thank God.
Oh, bless your heart.
Somehow I managed to, scrape that off my DNA.
Man, what part of Atlanta?
Well, I was born in Norcross, just kind of north of the craziness, but I mean, everywhere was kind of crazy. And when I was 8, we moved to Gainesville, which is near Alpharetta, Cumming, to kind of get away from the crazy, but it just kept growing.
Yeah.
But I was an hour from, the Atlanta airport and an hour from the mountains.
Nice.
So I got to pick which direction I wanted to go. And so it was a good little spot. It was a small town, but
Cool.
yeah.
But you were all ribbons and curls and everything foo-foo, right?
No, I was like a boy with, long blonde hair, down to my waist. I did a lot of sports. I did a lot of, I was in band too. I played trumpet for 7 years. I was the band captain. My dad played baseball when I was younger, and he was a pitcher. So I watched all his baseball games. I was always, from the time I was 4, I shot guns. I did competitive archery when the time I was 12. So I was always around weapons. Which is probably why the Marine Corps just kind of made sense. It wasn't scary to me. It felt like home. But I always was kind of in a men's world of toys growing up, just being a daddy's girl and just kind of following my dad around. He shot competitive archery and was number 1 in 19 states. He was really good at it. He was really good at it. And I wanted his attention, so I picked up a bow. I did that for a few years. Played trumpet, love music. I love concerts. I love rock music, country music. I just think music is kind of what fuels me. So I pretty much have it playing all the time. You can tell what mood I'm in based on what I'm listening to. Heavy metal, I can listen to that all day long too.
And you go to a lot of concerts.
Yes, my husband and I, that's kind of our thing, is to go to, concerts. And
You just got back from one.
I did. So we went and saw Stick Figure, which is my husband's favorite band. He had never gotten to see them in person. And so I got tickets for us to get to go. That was really fun, which is reggae. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of our happy, chill music, barefoot, running around in the backyard kind of music. But we'll go Breaking Benjamin. I've seen Shine Down 9 times. Bush.
Shine Down.
I started going to concerts at 92, I think. So I love all the rock bands. The 90s rock was probably my favorite. There's nothing like 80s music.
That's right.
Hair bands.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What happens when the hair bands are all balding?
Yeah.
Now, some of them still got it. We saw Foreigner last year. They still got it.
Yep.
Def Leppard, Motley Crue. We love all of them for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, but the lead for Motley Crue, he is no longer slender and
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody who gets into the Marine Corps is infantry and riflemen. Everybody has all of the basic infantry skill set. What did you do beyond that? What were you doing in the Marine Corps?
So I was the brain. Funny thing, my senior year, I was number 6 in our class of 300 and something. And everybody assumed I had scholarships. I could go to any college I wanted. But I just, it didn't sit right with me to just go to school because that's what everybody else was doing. I was in a small town. I wanted to get out. The recruiter caught me at the right moment when I was hosting a like a career night with the National Honor Society. My job was to go to each room and make sure that everybody, volunteering, like I still do it.
That's right.
Putting on events. That's just kind of the thing that's in my blood. And the recruiter's like, hey, where are you going to college? I said, I really haven't decided because I have a lot of skills. I have a lot of desires, but I don't really know what I want to do with my life. But I want to get out of here and I want to do something honorable. In come the Marine Corps. What is your SAT scores? What are your grades? Come to find out, I took the ASVAB. I had the highest score in the state of Georgia that year. So I was golden goose right there.
So surprised. This is my surprised face right here.
So he's like, okay, so you're a female.
Yeah.
You love weapons. You've always been raised around men, and you're smart. He's like, you have to join the Marine Corps because I have a box to fill. The recruiters have a hard job of finding those, diamonds in the rough. And
finding the Ritas in the world.
He grabbed hold and was like, he just painted me a picture of travel and serving my country and getting to learn new skills and figure out who I was before I put time into going to college, because then it'd be paid for. So I was like, sign me up. I didn't even think twice. I didn't have to.
So were you in for just your 4 years, or did you do longer than that?
Well, I had enlisted for 5 because I did avionic electronics. It's a very long school. It's a harder school. Most people wash out of it. So a lot of mathematics, a lot of engineering. And so my enlistment was supposed to be for 5 years, but I injured my spine shortly after boot camp, my military combat training. I ended up with a spinal injury and a few other injuries. And after 2 years, they decided that they couldn't fix me, and kind of broke my heart at the time. I was very stubborn, was wanting to stay in, and God had another path, he had another plan. And so I just kind of embraced that. And so I was able to get out on a medical honorable discharge. And I stayed in Pensacola, which is where I was stationed at the time. After avionics school. My secondary MOS was a mail clerk because they figured out I was highly organized. So I ended up running all the mail for the base.
Was that Pensacola NAS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was.
Cool.
Yes.
They have a nice plane out by the highway.
I've been there several times. That's a great facility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's camp out here on the Marine thing for just 1 second.
Sure.
What, according to the other branches, what's the favorite flavor crayon for Marines, and why did they get that? Because you just said that he said you're smart, you're all these things, but a lot of the other service members will say that crayon eater. So do the
Jarhead.
Yeah, but specifically crayons. What's the favorite flavor?
I don't think she's going to give you a straight answer there, bud.
Right, it's probably going to be chewing up the Navy, Army, and the Air Force, right?
Well, it's a brotherhood for the very same reason as brothers will pick on each other. They'll beat each other to a pulp, but that's what makes us better. But don't mess with my brothers and sisters because I will kill you. We have shovels on speed dial. That's just the thing.
Shovels on speed dial.
So
And they
we
know
will
how to
look
hide
out for our
bodies.
own. We police our own. We protect our own. We beat up our own, but don't come near it.
Right.
So yeah, we have nicknames for each other. We have jokes from centuries probably.
That's right.
But at the same time, we all honor and respect each other. And
Oh.
poke each other and do all this stuff.
Elbow to the ribs and whatnot.
Totally.
My two,
Share force.
It's a love-hate.
That's right.
Oh, I wasn't going to say it. You said it. I wasn't going to say it on air, but it's there.
my
We
two
love them all.
Squids, zoomies.
My 2 favorite slogans are, when it absolutely positively has to be destroyed overnight, send the Marines.
Yeah.
And the other than that, the gates of heaven are guarded by Marines.
Mm-hmm. That's
Kill them all, let God sort them out.
That's right.
I have that shirt.
Yeah, that does not surprise me. No, my dad was started Air Force. He was deployed in Okinawa during the Vietnam War. He was a communications officer, and then did a branch transfer to Army for a brief time. And then he was an Army. His National Guard. He was in Warrant Officer School, and then washed out of that for a medical reason. Has like a back thing, if I remember correctly. I'm sure he'll tell me if I got it wrong because he listens to all these episodes. But yeah, I mean, I'm born and raised I wasn't a military family because my dad was out by then. They didn't have me until they were both 35, I think. My math is correct. But yeah, I was raised by a dad who was very military. Has lots of choice words for the Marine Corps, and in a kind of respectfully ribbing sort of way, how they're brutish and unintelligent, but I mean, he was an Air Force guy for a number of years. So,
Well, bullet catcher is another nickname
Yeah.
for us, just,
yeah.
But there's so many. And I honestly, I can say this, that anybody that's willing to sign a blank check to our country has my respect, no matter
Yeah,
what brand.
100%. 100%.
Because there's a lot of people out there that they complain, but they never do anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Put up
well,
or shut up.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
Especially nowadays. Boy, there's some tough people on those keyboards.
There's a
That's some
huge
real
need
tough
There's
for our
soft
service
people on the
members.
keyboards.
We need more. We need more in our service.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
Yeah, there should be a rule. If you want to make a super snarky comment, you have to do 5 push-ups first. There'd be a lot fewer comments.
at least 5. I mean, more like 30.
Well, I can't do 30.
Okay, so if
Well, you
if,
and I can talk later. I'll give you some tips on how to build that up.
if you know Rita, then you know that
I have in the past, just not
recently,
currently.
Just recently.
I know you did 30, Miss Boss over here.
Well, it was
Only 30?
It was 31. It was 31, but I just stopped because that's the money that we raised. But I probably could have kept going because now in 2019 I did 54.
I was there in the
And-
room when you
yep.
did that. Yes.
After taking my jacket and skirt off, but I had gym clothes underneath and freaked everybody out. But I said, well, it's the whole point is to bring awareness to the cause. So you have to do something a little shocking.
Well, I was about as far from you as I am right now
you
when
were
that happened.
you were right beside me on the left.
Yeah.
You stood up, you said, and you said your thing, put the microphone down, and took off your jacket. I was like, all right, and then unzipped your skirt. I was like, oh my goodness.
I had gym clothes underneath. I'm 100% appropriate. But the
there
whole
was
point
definitely
was
a matter of
100
what's
some
she
people
doing?
in the room. It's
Yeah.
like, well, at Links, people are, always promoting causes, nonprofits, things like that. And, sometimes the ask starts to get faded to people who are just in the room, hearing the commercials every week.
It's fatigue.
It's like, well, stand out, be different. And I always have been. And I thought, well, what can I do that Fred will attest to this from the day that we met. I have never taken off my business jacket.
Never.
So I thought, well, how funny would it be for me to have gym clothes underneath and to totally do a strip right in the middle of a business meeting and drop and do push-ups for something so important to me that nobody has ever forgotten. People run into me at Kroger or Walmart like, hey, didn't you do push-ups like 5 years ago? Yep, that was me. That was me.
I mean, it's iconic. When I think of the moments that I've been a part of in McKinney, that's one of them.
Yep.
'Cause, I mean, the look of on everyone's face was just our eyes got bigger with each 10 push. It was like, is she done yet? Oh, she's not done yet. Oh my gosh, she's still going. And still going. And 30, 35, 40, 45. Oh my God. Is she going to get to 50? Oh my gosh, she got to 50 push-ups. And I'm sitting there.
Well, it was laughable because people were counting so slow. I was doing 2 for everyone they counted.
remember.
So I'm
I'm
like,
sitting
you
there
guys
counting.
are going to have to go faster.
I was counting in real time. And I'm at around 30, 35. I was like, well, she's past me. I can't do more than that. And, 54. Wow.
Yeah.
And where did the money go to? What, just for everyone's benefit?
So right now I work with, there's an organization in San Diego called Operation Courage is Beautiful, and they receive products, care packages, special like self-care products, different things that are needed overseas, and they actually have access to each of those bases so that they can make shipments. And so I'm able to send products directly to them, and then they're able to distribute to the places in need. And so that's who I'm currently working with. There's some different organizations out there, but this one's still active after COVID.
Okay.
Excellent.
But you can go to their website. It's operationcourageisbeautiful.com.
Okay.
And anybody can send items and things to them, and they will make sure it gets distributed. So that's just one contact.
So catch us up, post-Marine Corps. How do you find your way to McKinney? What did life throw at you to get you here?
Well, it was a relocation with my ex-husband's job. And so we had just purchased probably our 5th home in Georgia. It seemed like every 2 or 3 years he'd want to buy something bigger, better, crazier. And so I was constantly kind of moving around the Jefferson, Brazelton area in Georgia. And he took a different job and moved to Texas for about 9 months. He was supposed to only be here 9 months. Well, at the time, he also signed a contract that he was going to stay there. Came and put a sign in our yard. We sold the house within 24 hours. And 3 weeks later, I was here in a house I'd never seen. and had to completely start over. And I thought, well, in Georgia, I actually was a part of like 3 or 4 different organizations where I was currently the chair or the president. And I did a lot in the chamber. I was an ambassador of the chamber.
Right. Yeah.
I was about to be in the leadership program with the chamber there in Georgia, in Jackson County, which it's small. There was 4 different counties within this chamber. I knew all the mayors on speed dial. But I loved serving in the community. I understood that's how you build relationships. That's how you have a family of people that you can count on for anything you need. And so the minute I moved here, the first thing I did was call the McKinney Chamber, and I talked to Kathy Blank on the phone. I said, I'm just moving here. I don't know a soul, but I want to build my family, my network. And so tell me how I can get involved, join the chamber. I looked on Meetup and found another group that was meeting the day before Links, which was where I met Fred and Elizabeth. I literally, my very first networking meeting, sat down next to Fred and Elizabeth at NetWeavers, and they were like, hey, we're going to Links tomorrow as well. And I just spent probably 1.5 years, 2 years showing up to every single thing I could because nobody knew me. But I said, well, if I go everywhere, somebody's going to figure out who I am, but I'm going to meet people. And the one thing I know is when you're down to nothing, give something. And so that's really how I started, was just I went out and I figured out if I can volunteer, find where the need is. God will bring those people into my path that I'm supposed to meet that'll be significant. And I just focused on making those relationships, supporting them. And I knew that it would come back tenfold. And it did, even more than I could have imagined. So I love the chamber. I've been a part of the Senior Service Alliance. I was an ambassador for 3 years. I was on the Links Committee for 3 or 4 years and the chair in 2019. Went through Leadership McKinney in 2019. That was amazing. Now I'm on the Alumni Committee for that. Women's Alliance, I'm the incoming chair for next year. Currently working on our WAM conference, which is in a couple of weeks. I'll be the MC for that, which will be really fun. So I think, when you're not sure what to do, just get involved. Show up, volunteer, figure out where the needs are, and you'll figure out what you need to know. A lot of people sit at home and complain and they're lost. Well, get up, get out, do something. A lot of times people are easy. It's, the keyboard warriors. They go on Facebook, they complain, but they're the very ones sometimes that haven't done anything to contribute. They haven't done anything to discover. They haven't done anything to help. They just want someone else to. But that's not how it works. And I knew that when I moved here. So I thought, well, I may not know anybody today, but I guarantee you give me a week, I'll at least know 20 people. And I've just always had that mentality to just show up. I mean, the Marine Corps taught me a lot about just no fear.
Must be present to win.
Yeah, totally.
What were you doing back then? Because it wasn't Mary Kay yet.
It was. It was.
Really?
I've been doing Mary Kay for 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's because, James, I don't approach it the same way as maybe some other consultants that you've never met.
You mean in your face and oppressive and nagging and annoying?
No, we are a sisterhood and we're passionate about helping people with their skin and their makeup. I feel like it's a mission field for me because the products are a vehicle for me to get to know that person and build that relationship and lift them however I can, whether it's through products or through the relationship or even being a resource for other people I know. So it's a blessing to all, not just me to make that exchange in money to pay my bills. And so you have to kind of think bigger that whatever you're called to do, whether it's a roofer or a photographer or insurance, it's the playground for the mission. It's the vehicle for wherever else you can lead it. You just have to figure out how it works and where it can go and how far it can go. And, I think for me, it's just, I think of it more as a calling than I think of it as just something I do every day. I wake up like, whose life can I change today? Who can I lift today? How can I help someone today? And yes, I do Mary Kay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am a sales director and have, been awarded many times in our company in the top. Yeah. But I don't see it that way. I just feel like I'm one of many that can make a difference.
Do you mind if I ask some meddlesome questions? This is Mary Kay specific questions.
Go for it.
Yeah.
My wife is crunchy, like very, very, very crunchy. And she is all about the clean makeup, the clean cosmetics, paraben free, dye free, like all. I don't know all the things 'cause I'm a boy and I don't wear makeup and all that. But I'm the reputation, like in a general sense, is that Mary Kay is like the legacy cosmetic companies, Maybelline and, CoverGirl and whatever else. Like the especially now in 2025 and beyond, like these newer companies that are coming out that are, organic everything and, all these things they don't have in them or whatever. How is Mary Kay approaching this move towards, removing these artificial things, removing parabens, removing waxes and whatever else? I'm not using the right words because, again, I'm a dude.
It's totally okay. And we have men's products, so,
How is Mary Kay approaching the so kind of societal move in the direction of natural, organic, sustainable, healthy stuff to put in your body?
I love this question because Mary Kay's not moving towards it. We started creating it. We actually follow the European Union standard, which is very different than what most companies, U.S.-made companies, they don't follow this standard. They eliminate almost 2,500 toxic chemicals, ingredients on the European Union standard that are not like regulated here. So people who are talking about clean this and organic that, Mary Kay's been doing that forever. And we follow the European Union standard. So if you look that up, it's so much different than a lot of American-made products. But they started here in Dallas. Our manufacturing building is in Addison, so we make it here in Texas. But we follow that standard. And so people can use buzzwords all day long, but they can look at Mary Kay and know that we've always followed those guidelines, and that's not something new. We also are the #1 best-selling brand in skincare and color cosmetics in the world for direct sales, and have been for 3 years in a row.
Wow.
And we've had that #1 place many years in the past as well. So it's not, network marketing. It's not all these things people say are pyramids. Like pyramids are illegal, by the way. But we're direct sales, and we have 2 streams of income. So pyramids, marketing, network marketing, like
MLM,
you have to build.
and whatnot.
MLM. We're not MLM. We're direct sales. MLM, you have to have a team in order to make commission off your sales.
Yeah.
You can make 50% and not have a single person on your team in Mary Kay. And there's so many confusions out there. I just love being a truth teller. I'm like, sure, ask me anything because I'll be totally honest. And you can ask any AI and they'll back anything I'm saying right now. So it's not just, fluff. It's real facts. I'm a very logical fact person. So I love having that to support what I'm saying too. But I've had people ask, and they're like, well, I'm going to switch. Another thing I do want to address, since you brought this up, is there's a lot of apps out there that can scan products to see if they're clean and safe. I want everybody listening that has ever used these to know that those apps are bought by companies.
Yeah.
They are funded by companies with, something to gain or lose. Mary Kay will never pay into something like that to get approval. So
it's like Mars Candy buying a health food app. It's like, oh, no, Mars Candy is healthy.
Correct.
It's like, well, Mars is an investor in this health food app.
So those
They're
apps,
like My Fitness Pal or something.
For that inaccurate information at times. Or to highlight this or to point out this ingredient. But I will tell you, Mary Kay spends millions of dollars and years researching our dermatology department, our scientific department, taking these ingredients and making them in their safest form and creating these products with that European Union standard. So even if these apps are flagging an ingredient, they don't know how it's used, how it's scientifically formulated, and what value it actually has in the product. So beware when using these new fad apps, because I've lost a few customers to it because I couldn't get them to understand what I'm telling you. And that's unfortunate because people are easily swayed when they want someone to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm. Be smart and figure out what you need and what you want, and not just have someone tell you what to do. That's my best advice.
I didn't know where I was going with that. I just figured I'd ask the question because every time Mary Kay comes up, Allison is just like, because I guess her perception is that it's just a legacy cosmetic company that has a bunch of junk in it she doesn't want to put on her face or body or whatever. I'm more asking for her benefit than mine because, obviously if Mary Kay is an option, then I have an entirely new avenue of gifting for my wife because
Sure.
yeah, and I don't know the first thing about any of that cosmetic makeup stuff. I don't even know the difference between mascara and eyeliner. Honestly, I'm not even sure which one's which.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I didn't wear makeup until I was 29, and I'm not telling you how old I am now, but
$29.95 plus tax,
definitely-
shipping,
right.
and handling.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so
Exactly.
we don't have to make it a Mary Kay episode because I know that there's a lot of stuff that you're involved in currently, that's very specific to McKinney. Now, as we kind of move into the last phase of the episode here, like what's the message? What is Rita about now in 2025 and beyond? What has your focus right now?
I think it's truth. I think there's a lot out there of fear and people looking, like I was saying, or like, tell me what to think, tell me what to believe, tell me what, like, if you don't know your truth and what you believe because that's in you, not around you, I think that's the first thing is to just turn everything off, get quiet. And, you have to have values and beliefs before you enter a room. If the saying that goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
But what I've been seeing is a lot of people trying things and doing things outside of the norm because it seems popular or that's what's getting everybody's attention right now. And my message is be authentically you, but not in a way that hurts other people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I say that, because there's people like, well, I'm just honoring myself and being myself, but
I just
by
speak the truth.
Stepping
It's like,
on other people's
but your truth is really
values
harmful.
and beliefs. So it's like you don't
Yeah.
have to do that to be authentically yourself. I think it's when you can blossom in that way next to someone who's completely different and let them honor themselves. You honor yourself. Boundaries. That's the word, boundaries. If you've never read the Boundaries book by Rita Townsend, start there.
No
because-
relation?
Nope. No
No
relation. Well, I don't know. Could be maybe
Uncle Clint.
down there somewhere. I'll find out and let you know. But I read that book a couple of years ago, and it really opened my eyes because sometimes we don't know how to say no. We want people to like us. Especially when you're a business owner, don't sell yourself short because you're so worried about those instant gratification yeses that actually wear you out, stress you out, and you lose yourself instead of gaining. So for me, I think saying no to more things and saying yes to yourself in a healthy way until you figure out like what really matters to me, what are my goals, what's important to me. I want to honor myself. And when we honor ourselves, we actually allow other people to as well. But do it from a healthy place, not a selfish place. It's hard because there's people who's like, well, boundaries are selfish and rude and don't say no to me or people. And, there's times people have approached me to give or to donate, and I say yes a lot. And then there's times where I can't or I'm not able to. I'm honoring myself, but I'm also allowing them to receive the no and know that it's not a bad thing. No can be the best misdirection that we get. If everybody's always saying yes to you, there's a problem. And it's usually because you're doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what's your motivation? I learned to ask myself, like, before I say yes, like, why am I saying yes to these things? What is it? Is it to further, for me, it's God's kingdom. I support and honor the Lord and the things he's called me to do and living a positive, healthy life that honors him. That's important to me personally. And faith is different than religion. I've heard that thrown around a few times. Religion is something that's man-made, and it's a box with a set of rules that people label. That's different than belief. That's different than your faith. My faith could be FredShots is the best headshots you'll ever get.
Testify. I go to that church.
Lay's
Preach.
potato chips are the best potato chips. UGA Bulldogs, best SEC college football team ever. Sorry, I've been a UGA
You lost
fan
me in
for
the last
35
two.
years.
Sorry.
But
Chomp,
they're
chomp, baby.
beliefs. They're faith. It's your faith. Your faith in a chip. Your faith in a college football team.
Ruffles.
So don't be afraid to share what you believe, right?
Yeah.
I think there's this stigma that we have to be careful about what we believe as business owners because if we present that, we'll lose people. I think you attract the right people. being yourself, not being afraid of that. You don't have to berate anybody. And the person next to you could be totally different and have, see, you believe different college teams. I still love you, Fred. Okay?
But
like,
we can
we're
all
still
agree.
pals, right? Okay.
We can all agree that a ridged potato chip with a nice onion dip.
A rich potato chip is structurally more sound.
It is. It's less likely to break. And when I'm watching a football game, dadgummit, I want that full chip with the French onion dip. Ooh, it's so good.
So see, isn't it fun to talk about what you believe? And
absolutely.
it's safe, right? And so surround yourself with people that allow you to be yourself. If you're not doing that, then maybe that's something to ask yourself.
This past election season,
polarizing.
Yeah, it's, as I've reflected since June 7th, when the runoff finished, May 3rd, general election, June 7th, it's like that 4-month period from January to June brought out the absolute worst in so many people, myself included. And there were times in there where I lost myself. And I'm listening to you talking, and it's impossible for me to not acknowledge the fact that, I didn't handle that correctly in the election season. And as the weeks have passed, there's been more clarity there. And this feels like an appropriate moment. You know what? I know that she's not here in the room right now, but you know what? I'm going to make a commitment to reach out and simply say what needs to be said. Because Robert Warren kind of ambushed me at Lynx 2 weeks ago. And I know that he's not a fan at all. I know him and Tammy have plenty of reasons to not like me at all. And Robert was standing there when I walked in the door of Gather, and he was waiting on me like a crouching cat waiting to pounce. And I walked in the door, and he basically shouts at me, "Are you ready to apologize to Tammy yet?" And I was like, oh man, here we go. It ended up being a very pleasant, relatively polite conversation. And it got me thinking, is like, you know what? Whether what I said was true or not is not the point. Whether I was simply making an observation about someone's words and behavior, that's not the point. Whether what I said was factually accurate or not isn't necessarily the point. Was my motivation entirely pure? No. I wanted to make sure that she did not win an election because I felt that she was not the right person, and I went on the attack. And my tone was definitely not constructive and beneficial and positive. My tone was, I think some of the things you've said and done are dangerous and you need to be removed from consideration. And then as you're talking, all I'm thinking of is Tammy Warren and how, Robert, you're right. I do owe her an apology because of the way that I went about it. I'm not saying that I don't agree with what I said. I'm not saying that I was wrong in the message, but I was definitely wrong in how I went about it. I did not have the correct motives. I was not thinking in a constructive way. I was thinking, this person in this situation is my enemy, and I need to defeat them. And man, the more I think about it, the more time that passes, the more I reflect on it. It's like, yeah, that wasn't the right way to go about it. It's whether I believe that what I said was factually true or not, which I do, I did not approach it with grace or dignity, and there was no respect there. There was, this lady needs to lose an election, and I'm going to make sure that she loses an election as best I can with whatever influence I have. But I went about it wrong. And as you're sitting here, because it's been in my head the last week and a half, because Robert was standing up for his wife. It's an honorable thing to do. I can't say a thing about it. In that conversation, I was like, hey, dude, you're standing up for your wife. You think I wronged her. That's the honorable thing to do. I don't have a problem with that. And I think this is a big-time tangent of a conversation. But based on what you said, all I'm thinking of is Robert and Tammy. As you're talking, it's like, it doesn't matter if what I said was or wasn't factually true. I believe it was. I don't think I lied or misrepresented anything, but I certainly was not kind. I certainly was not speaking with grace. I certainly was not being a good neighbor towards Robert and Tammy. And that is definitely what I'm going to find her and apologize to her for. And I'm committing here on this episode to say exactly that.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, elections aside, Robert and Tammy and Paul Chabot and people that I have major philosophical problems with.
Live here too.
That I have a huge problem with how they go about doing some things. That does not mean that they're deserving of any less grace or dignity or basic kindness, basic decency as anybody else. And thank you for a strong reminder. You didn't know where my mind was going with that. Sitting here in this conversation, you had no idea where I was taking that in my head.
Oh, the Lord comes through me all the time with things, and I'm open to whatever is going to come out, because sometimes it's not even led by me. It's usually, I believe that's the Lord telling me what I need to say, because he knows what he's doing. That's my belief.
100% agree. At the end of the day, the point I want to make is I'm not retreating from the message, but I am absolutely saying that I was as guilty as anybody else of creating division, of creating animosity, of creating an othering, of creating a hostility towards someone who lives in McKinney and shops at the same grocery stores and visits the same things. It's kind of counterintuitive for me to be a co-host of a McKinney podcast and then do my best to marginalize someone who lives here and is just doing what she thinks is the right thing to do. So yeah, there you go. We'll just leave that one there, and I'll take that one on the chin. And Tammy has every right to hate my guts. I was pretty rough with her. Hopefully after a face-to-face, like, we can take some of the air out of that balloon. So
stronger together.
We all act on certain things, and then we learn from it.
Yeah.
So we're either winning or we're learning. There's no failing unless you just refuse to learn, right? That's kind of my thoughts on it. So there's so many times I look back, I could have handled this different or said that, or even in like my commercials or whatever, and we have our networking groups, and I'm just like, I forgot this. Or it's a moment to reflect and better yourself. Yeah. Learn from it, and then guess what? When you see somebody else failing because they don't know how to pivot, you say, hey, I've been there. I've said stuff, made up things, or, had to really humble myself, and you're going to be okay. Until something goes wrong, we don't have a story, and we don't have a way to give someone else a survival guide. So consider it an opportunity that you could help someone else, and that maybe is slap in the middle of it that could go left or right, and you've already chosen which way to go, but now you can help somebody at that crossroad with some friendly advice, and just say, hey, I've been there. Like, that's not going to serve you well. Let me help you. So we're only making everyone after us better if we get better. So consider it something good.
And I think it really is, because, I mean, the phrase "we can disagree without being disagreeable," that definitely applies here. But I think it's even simpler than that. We can disagree without being unkind and have strong disagreements on important issues.
Oh, yeah.
Issues that affect the lives of people in our city without being unkind. And I think I would be out of line if I didn't say, man, a lot of people lost sight of that in the election. And it was polarizing, neighbor against neighbor. And it's really, really unpleasant to think about how toxic some of those things were. And it's like, I'm so glad. I remember sitting there at Bill Cox's election party that night thinking, man, I'm so glad this is over. I'm really tired of talking about these things. And it was like, most of it was, can we stop with the toxicity? Can we stop with the negative energy on both sides? I would really like to find positive, constructive, beneficial, good things to talk about again. It's like, I would like the cortisol level in my bloodstream to go down.
Oh, yeah, sure. I remember one time someone shared with me, we're like a tube of toothpaste. We may walk around with a label on us, but nobody knows what's really inside until you put a little pressure. Yep. You put a little pressure, you know what's inside. Yep. And sometimes you see what comes out and you're like, oh, I need to fix myself. I need to check that. And then there's other times where you're like, I walk around, I have a label of who I believe I am, and it comes out authentic. And so in those moments when you're like, yeah, a little pressure happened and I don't like what came out, that's when we work on ourselves. We are not responsible. That's what I love about the Boundaries book. I am only responsible for myself, managing my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings. No one else is responsible for how I feel about what they do or what anybody. I am only responsible for myself and taking care of how I respond. I can't change anyone or anything, but I can manage my space just as much as someone else can manage their space if they don't like what I'm doing. But when we start expecting other people to, you have to help my feelings or you have to make this right for me, it's like, well, you have to deal with your own issues and your own feelings and emotions. And everybody else, if we could just figure that out instead of putting the blame, but just take responsibility. Okay, I screwed that up. Bad on me. I will fix it. I will learn from it, and I will help someone else next time. Or blame somebody else, and then you never change and you're crusty and it's awful. And, but sometimes it takes us a while to get to that place. It took me a long time to get to that place with a lot of things. I had a lot of anger from my time in the service, some things that happened. My 15-year marriage, there was this challenge, and the things that came from that I had to learn a lot. That's actually why I named my studio in McKinney. You can come to my studio. It's free. The Beautiful Warrior Studio. It's our scars that really make us beautiful. But if we try to hide our scars, make ourselves perfect, try to have that perfect persona, put our masks on, no. Be okay with the mistakes. Be okay with the hurt. Be okay with the screw-ups, because those actually make you beautiful when you accept them and you share them and you help other people with them. So when you come to my studio, yes, you can have a facial. You can have a makeover. You can sit down and cry and tell me your whole story, and I will listen like a therapist. It's a space to be authentic. And then you can shop if you want to, or you can hug me and cry, and that's all we do. But I love that space because everybody needs a safe space. Yep. And that's why I created it a year and a half ago. Men can come there too. I have men's products. I think the biggest thing is just starting to take off that mask, take off all those presumptions and things people have taught you, and really just be real. When you're real with yourself, you'll walk out that door, you'll attract so differently in your life, in your business, with your family, with your health, because you let go of trying to hide all these, imperfections. Yep. I am a perfectionist by nature. I'm trying to recover. But I've learned that screwing up is the best way to help other people.
That's lessons learned. That's right.
Yeah. So I embrace that, and I've learned to help other people embrace that through my work.
You touched on a couple things there. And I know our time's getting short, but we're just getting started. But
we have to wrap.
Okay. So, I just for the people out there, specifically for the ladies out there. Now, you mentioned several things. So Marine Corps is tough. You talked about your first marriage, and then you kind of touched on it, but there were some health challenges also in there. Mm-hmm. And Elizabeth and I have known you through all of these things, and you never tried to play things off like everything is perfect and Pollyanna in my life. Mm-hmm. So what do you say to people? And I know a couple of the ladies in your group, and I knew their stories, and I was like, what a great fit. What do you say to that person out there who's listening, who's like, who say things to themselves like, I could, that's great for her, but I could never be her. I could never do that. You don't know what I'm going through. What do you say to somebody who's probably silently retreating into themselves because of life circumstance?
Well, your mind is a terrible and scary place, and nobody should ever go in there alone. I spent probably the better part of 40 years, isolating myself and just compartmentalizing things. But I've learned that when you bring it to the light, you really get to see a different perspective, because our own perspective is usually weak, it's flawed, and it's biased. And so when you retreat, when you hear something that prompts you, when you feel that prompting and that stirring, you can shut it down and retreat, or you can lean into the pain. God never wastes our pain, I believe that, but the pain is actually where the reward is, when you feel the pain and release it. But you have to shed light on it first. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, all the junk up in your head, and Elizabeth knows, because mindset is everything. Mm-hmm. Where your mind is, your life will follow. Mm-hmm. And if you stay in that retreat mode, you stay in that nobody cares, you'll live it. You will become it. That's all you'll have. You have to be open to those relationships that will challenge you, make you feel the pain, but they will grow you in a way that will bless you. I had to face those things and come to light with a lot of stuff that I wanted to hide and stay angry. I mean, that's why I'm so fit. I work out 2 hours a day because of the stuff I held in and the anger I felt. And then I realized, well, I need to open this up and put this in the light for someone else to help me see better. When we have a telephone pole in our eye, we can't do much. So if you feel like you want to retreat, ask yourself, well, is that serving me? I mean, how's it working for you so far? Right. I had to learn to do something different to get something different.
Love
and
it.
figure out who that is. That's that one person that you feel like you can go to. And if you don't know who that is, come to me. Come talk to me. I have never met a stranger, and I love all people because it's not my job to do anything else.
Yep.
Love it.
And in the interest of respecting Elizabeth's schedule right after us, because
right.
we have a booked day in the studio. So we have to skip the bear shark conversation.
But
I'm sorry.
I feel like we're going to have a second round with Rita because
for sure.
we just barely tipped the surface.
Absolutely.
And I'm a big fan of yours. So anytime we get to chat, it's a good talk.
That's right.
Same.
But hey, Rita Townsend, your Mary Kay girl, her advice is free. Her impact is priceless. And you can check out her information in the show notes and the description of the video below. Anything you good there? Anything else? Any call to action, any events, any big things you want people to be aware of?
Anything coming up soon?
Yeah, yes, actually. So I'm the chair for Leah's Kids' very first gala. If you've never heard about Leah's Kids, go to leahskids.org, learn about them. They support families of children going through pediatric cancer. We have our very first gala September 4th. It's going to be at Verona Villa. You can get tickets online. We're still looking for a few sponsors. Table sponsors and silent auction items. Come, talk to me about that. WHAM, Women's Alliance in McKinney. We have our huge annual conference. I'll be the MC. That's going to be September 18th. You can register on the chamber website.
Keynote speakers and a panel.
It's going to be an amazing 8 to 3 day. So I'm excited about that. And I am also heading up helping with the September 11th memorial that's going to be in downtown McKinney. The week of September 11th. So you can go and
what I'm hearing is we're going to make sure that this episode drops a week from Monday.
That's right.
Okay.
And I would love to come back anytime. You both are very bright and shining stars in my eyes, and I appreciate all that you guys do, and you make a big difference. So I just appreciate who you are.
Mutual.
It's definitely mutual.
Same.
Absolutely.
Samesies. All right, we got to go. This has been another episode of the McKinney Podcast, celebrating what makes us unique by nature. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you again next time. Y'all take care.